Hola y bienvenidos a Módulo 8. Congratulations, we are more than halfway through the semester, so let's finish that second half strong, less than second half. So remember that the biggest thing that you need to be working on this module is the field-specific project, so hopefully you already have set up your person to interview. And remember, you're going to be asking that person, what do you do when you get patients that don't speak English? So what are the procedures? Do you have translators? Do you have visual cards? Whatever they do. And then make sure that you ask like more questions, like how often do they get, patients that don't speak English? Do they remember any specific patients that they had a significant experience with? What have they done if there wasn't a translator available? Have they seen any cultural differences, or are there some common cultural factors that they've seen come into play? So you want to ask them more follow-up questions. And then remember that you are writing 2 pages in English, double spaced, to summarize the conversation, not a transcript, a summary. So what you learned from what they said, the main points of their experience. And then after that 2 pages in English of the summary, you then have a separate page that has the vocabulary words. So you can ask them what are some important words to know to interact with a patient that doesn't speak English? And then you're going to have those words in English and Spanish on the separate vocabulary page. Okay. If you need help with any of the writing part of it, I definitely recommend that you go to the writing center on any campus. You can also email them your papers. You want to make sure that you use some kind of standard format, APA. You want it to be like a professional paper. Do not use ChatGPT. I will give you no credit for the assignment. Okay. Okay. So the other thing this week is that since we are kind of halfway through the semester, under the readings, we have some of the same things from last week, but also there's a review because we're kind of like at midterm. So the quiz this week is going to be a little bit longer, and it's going to be a review of, modules 1 to 6, 1 to 7. So if there's anything that you didn't understand, make sure you go back. Like if you didn't understand the verb tener, or you didn't understand, the verb estar, make sure that you understand those before you take the quiz. So there's like a little PowerPoint that has a review, and then there's a video. It's an old video, but it just summarizes a lot of the main points from the beginning modules. So again, if there's anything that you didn't understand from those modules, make sure you go back. So for the assignments, there is a discussion board, so make sure you get your initial post in by Wednesday. That's going to be about the readings, and you also want to mention something about your field specific project in it. And then the quiz is longer, so make sure you give yourself time. And like I said, it's that kind of review. And then the project, make sure you turn it in on time. Okay, that one's like a big assignment. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Y nos vemos pronto. See you soon.